Hey everybody, Steve Moore here from Run More. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, what is stability and what does it mean for me when we're talking about running shoes? Our store is pretty much divided between neutral shoes and stable shoes, and that's what you're seeing when you're looking at the manufacturers. Are you somebody who's more neutral and more stable? And a lot of people, especially new to running, don't really quite know what that means. So we're just gonna go over real quick. When somebody comes in and we're talking to them about injury history and things that they're doing, do you like a softer shoe? Do you like a more stable shoe? Do you like a neutral shoe? So, in just like the basic terms, a neutral shoe is something that's not gonna really push or pull you any which way. So whatever your natural form and inclination may be, the shoe is just gonna be nice and cush and plush and soft and allow you to be a little bit more free range and do the things that come naturally to you in your gait cycle. So we, at least when we're fitting people, it seems like a lot of like younger folks and such have that nice, good, perfect form where they're getting away with a lot more neutral shoes. Their form is nice and beautiful, and they're not just having as much rotation when they're running. So a lot of times we see more of the younger generation coming in here with good, strong feet, getting away with neutral shoes. For a lot of people, especially longtime runners like myself, I have found over time that I need just a little bit more stability around me. And what that means is having some sort of design in the shoe that's gonna keep your foot more solid. Whether it's adding more arch support, adding more lateral support, it's gonna keep you from rotating one way or the other. And so when people come in here and say, I need a shoe with a really sturdy arch, that's what they're referring to. So if you're somebody who has more of a flat foot, your foot is gonna naturally roll to the inside, or at least have some variance on which way that it's moving. There's a little bit of sort of deficiency in there. And so by putting in whether a custom orthotic or getting a shoe that's more stable, it's gonna try to balance you out and make you feel a little bit more efficient in the shoe. So what we're seeing, and I use these two shoes because these are great examples to show what the stability looks like between a neutral version and a stable version. This is the Brooks Glycerin and Glycerin GTS. They look the same colors, same midsole, same drop, all that good stuff. But the Glycerin GTS has this little reinforced piece along your arch here and on a little piece on the outside of your foot. So both of these are designed to kind of hold you in place to keep you from putting any excess pressure or wasted energy from side to side. And at least for me, because I'm such a nut, that to me is like the most important part, at least for when I run, is that efficiency. So if you're somebody who naturally rolls to the outside of your foot, you're kind of wasting some of that energy. And like with running, doing long distance stuff, like I want to be as fast and forward as I can be. So if a shoe is kind of keep me going forward and taking less pressure off my knees and hips and back and keep everything in front of me, that's what I want. And so if you're somebody who is more rolling to the inside or rolling to the outside, not only are you sort of wasting momentum, but you're putting pressure in areas that weren't really designed for it. So over time, like for myself, I severely supinate. I run on the outside of the shoes a lot. For myself, even after the first run or two, everything feels great, but the more I wear the shoe and the more I'm continuing to put pressure on here, I'm gonna blow out the outside of the shoe. And after a couple hundred miles, you'll come in and see the shoe and you're gonna see it tilted this way. So you think now that you're running, it's almost like running along the beach when you see like how awkward and how hard that is in your body. It's because you're running on a slant. Well, that's what's happening to your shoes over time. If you're running in a neutral shoe and you're favoring one side or the other, the shoe's not really gonna help you. So you're gonna keep doing more and more damage on that shoe. And over time, any of the structure that this shoe had at all is gonna be gone, and now you're gonna be putting pressure on areas you shouldn't. So for myself, I start going like this, and then my IT band, my hip, everything is pulling out because I'm bowing to the outside. That's what happens to me. So I now, and this has probably only happened for me in the last like 5 or 6 years. I'm only running in neutral shoes, but now I find I kind of need like some shoes that have a little bit of lateral support. You get a little more wear out of it as well, but it just prevents me from doing this too much. It's just like this little reassuring, come on buddy, back to normal. And in my head, I visualize that as more efficient. I'm not wasting energy. I'm not putting pressure on areas that I shouldn't. And my runs will just be that much more fast and efficient and smooth. And that's what I'm looking for. So when you go into a running shop like ours, it's always nice to see the shoes you've been, because we can do a little bit of detective work. And quite honestly, it's nice when you come in a neutral shoe because I can see what you naturally do. If you come in a shoe that's neutral and you've put 500 miles on it, I can really do some DNA work on this shoe and be like, all right, look, you're landing here and here and here, and we can kind of figure out what's been happening. And if something's been bugging you, we might be able to connect the dots and say, okay, well, maybe we need to change this part of your shoe to get you to land in a little better spot. And that might help your whatever's ailing you, your arch pain or you're this or you're that, we can probably find a shoe to dial that in to get you to land a little bit more where you want to be on your shoe in the middle of your foot like that, and take some of the pressure off the areas that are getting a little hurt because you're landing funny and the shoe and your body is trying to make up for some of the deficiencies that the shoe now has because you've worn through it in spots that you were needing a little bit more support previously. So it's always good to go in there to a shop like ours or a shop near you and try to figure out what makes most sense to you. And I've seen over the years as shoe technology has gotten better, the stability has gotten better, and that people that might be just on the cusp of needing a little bit of stability are getting away with the new structures of it without feeling like it's overly controlling it. It's not so much motion control. I like to think a shoe is working with you, as that idea of, the bumpers in bowling analogy of like, if your bowling strikes, you'll never feel the bumpers. And that's sort of the same way in a lot of these new stability shoes with the guide rails, is if you think about it, if you're running neutral, they're not doing anything for you. But if you're starting to go, your form's getting off, you're getting sloppy in your run and you're needing that additional support, it's sort of there to pick up that deficiency and try to get you back to the middle of the shoe. And over the long haul, that should take some pressure off some areas in your body that probably weren't designed to take the pounding of the running on the roads for long distances of time. So that's sort of how we kind of think about stability in here and how the shoes work to do that. Is just think of that their whole job is to try to get you to be more efficient and more upright and not put pressure on areas that weren't designed to take pressure. So if you're looking to kind of make sure that you're doing good for your body and your health, have somebody kind of watch you when you walk, watch you when you run, take a look at your shoes at the bottom and figure out which way you're being pushed and pulled, and try to figure out shoes that line up more appropriately with your own individual needs, and find out the shoes that work for your long haul running. I hope that certainly helps, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave it down below. We'll try to get back to you as soon as we can, and if you found this helpful and exciting, do me a favor and like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much, and if you're in the greater Westminster area, stop on by and say hello, and hopefully we'll see you around town.